Welcome back to Digi Bros, everybody.
So, a fun thing Snape told me about the Philippines, which I'm curious to know if you saw this when you were there, is that people will get, I don't know if this was in Manila or a different city, but people will go to the city and buy pigs because they have like the best pigs, and they'll come from other places and buy these pigs and then bring them home with them on airplanes.
What the fuck?
So you'll go to the airport and there's pigs in cages coming off of like the baggage claim and going around like the baggage. It's all these pigs.
That's definitely not Manila.
Yeah, a ton of people come and get pigs from this one city, and then they go to other places in the Philippines and take
there
the
are
pigs
not
home.
Animals in Manila. There is
Yeah.
not life in.
I figured
There's
it's
no
not Manila.
greenery in Manila.
Because I don't think he lived in Manila when he was there.
Manila is just a fucking concrete jungle.
I was like, that's one of those fucking things I would have saw and went, nothing will ever surprise me again. If I were just in the airport and a bunch of pigs came shooting out of the baggage claim, I'd have been like, that's it. I'm
done.
I'm
I've reached the
jaded.
end.
Awesome. I don't need to see anything else. He also said in like Thailand or Bangladesh or something, he saw like a woman feeding her baby a fried tarantula.
Ugh.
And he was just like, whoa! That there are fried tarantulas somewhere. Anyways.
I mean, people say we should start eating insects.
Yeah,
and shit.
and he said it was in like a thing that was like this long line of like booths with just like shitloads of fried insects.
Ugh. Can't do it.
Yeah. So I had the Chinese dinner. I was a little disappointed. And then we go out to try to find this jazz bar that we didn't mark where it was. We had no idea how to get back. All I remembered, like I was literally remembering the roads we went down. And so we're like going back down these roads and I'm like, all right, this is where we turned in here. We stopped in this store and then we looked at our maps. And then I think we either went this way or this way. If we went this way, we walked one block and then like we went and checked it out, couldn't find it. And we're just like navigating New York trying to find this jazz bar. And then like as I'm going through, someone's yelling, like, there's people who stand on the street corners in Times Square and advertise comedy shows. And they'll be like, you know, this guy's playing tonight, come to the comedy cellar or whatever. And this guy's advertising and he's like, Louis C.K. is playing here. And I'm like, Louis C.K.? And I'm like, dude, we should go see Louis C.K. And Snape's like, he has no idea who that is. He doesn't watch any stand-up comedy. He's like, he's not a fan of stand-up comedy. He just totally shrugs it off. And I'm like, no, I can see Louis C.K. I can see him live right now.
How much do you think it would cost, though?
I don't know, because I know he does gigs at, like, the Comedy Cellar or something, and it's just, like, a place that's been doing stand-up forever, and that's just, like, where he goes. So it'd probably be, like, normal prices, because that's just where he does his thing, you know, regularly. But I was like, fuck, I don't get to see Louis C.K. But it turned out alright. We go into this, we find the jazz club, and we go inside, and, like, you walk in, and the ceiling is, like, really, really high. Like, almost, like, Walmart levels of high ceiling. And the whole way up, there's, like, all of this, like, badass, like, I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but, like, marble columns and shit, like, that go up behind the bar, and then there's, like, vintage paintings everywhere,
did you
and
fight
it's like
the boss who was there?
I talked to the guy and he teleported me out.
Okay, I wasn't.
I
paying
fought
attention.
Team Rocket. Anyways, it's a super fucking
I
rad.
thought you fought Giovanni
like
again there, but that was in the last place. Yes.
Super fucking rad, classy bar. And we go in, the live jazz playing. It's awesome. We go in and get our drink.
You just did it twice.
I don't fucking care, dude. I saw. You're throwing me off, man. I order.
Anyone who's actually watching this is gonna kill themselves.
I even saved pictures. Hold on, let me see this. Do your fucking. God damn it. Anyways, I go to this classy bar.
Turned you around.
Let me keep playing. I'm finding pictures. I'm gonna do this.
It's not gonna help
I took pictures
the viewers that you're taking.
No, because I took pictures of the menu so I could tell you what the drinks I got were. Because the first one I got was called a Clockwork Orange, which was Pisco, hazelnut liquor, orange juice, lime juice, Angostura bitters, and absinthe mist that had absinthe. Anyways, it was badass. It tasted great. It was called a Clockwork Orange. I was like, that's pretty cool. Have my Clockwork Orange, and then I get a Dance with Dragons. I was like, Dance with Dragons, that's badass, I gotta get that, which was Plymouth Gin, ginger liquor, aloe vera juice, lime juice, simple syrup, Angostura bitters, and champagne float.
It's a Game of Thrones reference for anybody who doesn't know.
I'm tired of never remembering the names of drinks I get, and so I decided to save them for us.
Would you like the controller back? We got the
Yes.
Pokemon flute, right?
I guess. Unless I had to talk to that dude again. I probably had to talk to the dude again.
What dude?
The dude who I just saved in the place.
Yeah, looks like
Yep.
it. So I ran you all the way out
Fucked
here
up.
for no fucking reason.
Anyways, we're having a good time in the bar. He talked to me about, like, he's a big fan of jazz music and shit. And, I'm just like, dude, I don't know shit about jazz. But the live jazz is awesome. Because it's one of those things that's always super cool live, even though I would never listen to it on my own, you know? That's where he told me stories about, like, shitty faculty members and, like, all sorts of things. It was cool.
All sorts of things, indeed. You
Uh,
want me to tell a story for a
It
minute?
was a sweet
Like,
jazz
recollect your
bar.
thoughts.
I just wish, like, you know, if you could see it, you'd be like, whoa, that place was fucking cool, but I can't, like, describe how cool it was. But it was neat as a thing where it's like, you know, that's a thing I could only do with that dude in New York, you know? Like, if I went with Hope, it wouldn't be the same going to a jazz bar, like, whereas this is a dude I know who's a big fan of jazz music and, like, loves that atmosphere of being in a cool bar and listening to jazz, and I was like, this is my unique New York experience with this person, you know?
Right.
And it'll be cool to go back every time and never do the same thing twice and always have a different experience. Where I was like, if I went and saw Louis C.K., I'd rather see that with you or Hope or someone who's a fan of him, and it would be awesome. But it was certainly interesting. And that's what all we really got to do because we were only there for one night. Anyways, you can tell a story now, and then I'll tell the rest.
Okay. I went to Kevin's doghouse the other day by myself.
Ah! Talk about fucking Kevin's doghouse work. Go ahead. I hope this is good. I'm sure everyone is thrilled to hear about Kevin's doghouse.
You would be surprised how many comments there were about Kevin's doghouse.
I read a few of the
Either
comments.
about one guy found out that there is a YouTube video about them. Like, they
Uh-huh.
have, like, a short, like, 7-minute documentary-style video. It only has, like, 200 views. I have no idea who recorded it or why.
Yeah.
But it's, like, you know, decent. I didn't watch it yet. I just kind of skimmed through it, but it looked pretty good. So I was like, why the hell is there a documentary about fucking Kevin's doghouse? That's awesome. But, man, I went there during lunchtime, and they are just, like, I realized I have no business advertising these guys because they're fucking slammed at lunch.
Yeah.
Like, there's only 3 people who work there.
If they only need to open like 4 hours a day, I'm sure they
Right.
get enough money in those hours.
Not that they get enough money, but they couldn't possibly handle more people.
Yeah.
Like, the place was full, and they were, like, all working, like, you know, like clockwork between people, like, no downtime and shit. But I also realized that, I was the only person under 35, possibly 40 in the place.
Huh.
And the only person under 200 pounds in the place.
Huh.
Everyone was
Big
fat
old
and
dudes
old.
getting some big old dogs.
They were all either fat middle-aged people or fat old people. All of
Fat
them.
old
all of
fucks.
them. Until one lady walked in with her kid. That was the only time someone was, like, not a fat middle-aged person.
But I'm gonna catch the fuck out of the Snorlax and fuck all the other Pokemon I have. They can get the fuck out.
Snorlax is really boring to actually play with.
Nah, man. When
'Cause
I
his
got him
strategy
in X
mostly
and Y, he
involves
was awesome.
sleeping,
Unless you just get rid of sleep,
I guess.
and he can learn shit like Surf and like
That's
cool, crazy moves.
Well, never mind. Snorlax is badass.
He's a boss.
But
boss ass Snorlax, man.
pretty
Hell
sure
yeah.
normal is strong against a ghost, is it?
Yes. Oh, immune. Let me whittle him down with my Blaziken.
I guess that's all there was to say about Kevin's doghouse. I was
Is
the
that
youngest.
it? You were just young?
I was the youngest and skinniest person
Wow.
in there. It
Well,
was
it's nice
really
you can go
shocking.
somewhere where you're the skinniest guy.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh, man.
But yeah. It was pretty funny. You can continue your New York
All
story
right.
now, if you've thought about it.
So day 2, we finally get down to the mission, the objective of why we came there, which is to pick up all this camera gear, which, you know, we couldn't go on Sunday because the place was closed. So, we go to the place. It's RE rental facility, and it's super fucking rad. I go in there and I'm just like, yeah! I'm like a kid in a candy store. We go in, and we meet the people at the rental place, and we start checking out the equipment. They bring out like fucking 14 cases or something. We've got like, we're setting up the camera. It's super badass. This thing is so, like, everything is made of like thick metal. Everything makes like a satisfying click when you plug it in and stuff. It's like all this cool sort of old school stuff. They said like they hinted that the last person who checked out this camera was like Scorsese on whatever he was doing lately, or no, it was Spielberg. It was Spielberg was the last person to use this
there's no
this specific
D in his
camera
name.
body. Spielberg, whatever, I don't fucking care. Anyways, Spielberg was the last person to use this camera, and it was cool as shit. And I'm just like I'm a person who never gets excited until I'm in the moment, you know.
Right.
The whole time I'm just kind of like, yeah, we're going to camera, whatever, fucking shooting on film. And then I get the camera and I'm like, oh, yes! So I'm setting that up, having a blast. It's got all this cool shit. This place is neat. It's like a facility, and it's got like all these workstations where they have like these boards with like patterns on them where you're supposed to test the lenses and stuff, and like you screw your tripod head onto this table. You got these assistants working with you. And I realized while I was there that like this is when I go to LA, I'm gonna try to apply at these places immediately, and like it's the coolest atmosphere of like, you know, there's a bunch of people around checking out gear, and it's all these like, these are cinematographers coming and renting out gear and testing it out, and like you'd get to meet all of these cool people and like learn about what projects they're doing, and like everyone's just so focused, and it's like this sweet, awesome atmosphere of people playing with cameras. And I'm like, I'd love to work here and master all of these cameras and like the technicality of them, and like meet all these people, you know, working with this stuff.
Are you gonna be allowed to work and do grad school?
I'm gonna fucking have to work and do grad school at the same time.
Right.
But this is a program that would at least allow me to do that, as opposed to like, if I got in, I still haven't heard back from AFI, but if I got in there, I would not be able to work. They would work. That's your entire life when you're going there. But it's a cool place. I enjoyed it. And then like we're about to leave, and Snape's like, did you want to take a look at the AC store they have in there? Which, you know, assistant camera store. And I'm just like, they have an assistant camera store? Right. And I go through and I'm looking around and it's like, oh, it's all these things I've looked at online. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even know there's a little pouch I can have on my thing that holds camera filters. I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
What is this?
If I had just gotten paid, like if I had been paid for all of the work I've done in the last month, like I probably would have blown, you know, a couple $100 there. Like I would have bought all this awesome shit. Because I was excited as fuck. They had all these tapes.
You did buy a bunch of shit that I would not describe as awesome, but I can tell it meant something.
Sausage
to you.
Marks, man. They're like,
yeah, look that one up.
Quilted. You won't get what it is. It's hard to Google. You have to go on camera websites and like find that shit.
It's just like
a
colored piece of fabric with
it's
a little
like a fabric
sand
thing with sand inside of it and a loop, and you can put it on your ring with your tapes, and you got your tapes and you got your marks. They won't leave scratches on people's floor if they have nice floors, you know. Awesome shit.
If you saw this bag of shit Victor bought and you compared how cool you think it looks to how cool Victor's making it sound like it is, you'd be like, wow, you're a fucking nerd. Like, that's immediately what you would think, I promise.
Oh, man. It's cool shit, man. Everything was cool. It was funny because we go in there to buy stuff, and it's like, obviously a place where people don't normally shop. They're used to kind of people coming in who have like already have accounts, and they just kind of grab a bunch of shit and go and get billed for it later. And so they're like ringing us up, and it's this old dude putting on his glasses and like typing slowly into this machine, like the serial numbers of shit. They don't have like a scanner to scan the price of things. It took like forever to fucking buy anything.
That's pretty fucking intense, not even having a fucking scanner.
There's
Although
so
I
many
guess
tapes,
that's
man.
true
I
of,
wish I could
like-
buy tape, but tape is so expensive.
Fucking Comic Trilogy always. Don't they do... Or do they scan? I don't remember.
I'm talking about like $15 for a roll of tape, man.
Comic Trilogy doesn't have scanners, right? They just like type in a fucking code.
I think you get scanners now.
Do they?
No, they don't have scanners.
They always type in that fucking
type
little
shit in.
machine.
Yeah. But it took even longer than Comic Trilogy. Snorlax. What do I name him?
Oh, you caught him. Good. How dang?
Yes. I always name my Snorlax How dang. For anyone who doesn't know, when we refer to Dansan, he is How dang.
So,
Oh, man.
or
Yeah, we went to the AC store. It was cool. I got stuff. I was very excited.
You gotta have a bike.
I gotta get a fucking bike.
You never got the bike?
No. Did
You
I?
got the bike
oh, yeah, I did
voucher,
get a
right?
bike, right?
Yeah,
Hold on.
probably. I don't know. I don't remember you ever. You got the voucher. You gotta go get the bike.
Where do I get the bike?
Go up there, cut that thing. Go up there. There's a guy up there who gives you fly.
I'll have cut. I
You
gotta go
don't
back and get.
have cut.
I got rid of my sand slash.
Well, you're gonna need cut through the whole game.
Anyways.
So.
Fuck, man. We picked up the gear and we went home.
That's it. That's the rest of the story.
Only other part of the story is I found out Snape was into, like, he's telling me the story about how he used to go to Christian camp, and then, like, he said, like, the last time he went, he had gotten yelled at by counselors because they caught him listening to My Bloody Valentine, and that was, like, the devil's music.
Do you
and so he
remember
couldn't
why
listen
you
to
were
it
in the
anymore.
Pokemon Center?
Oh yeah, to get the sand slash.
Wait,
Anyways,
how old was he?
he was, probably like 17.
Okay, so this is like long ago.
Yeah, long ago. And he
My
got
Bloody
listening to My Bloody
Valentine is the devil's music?
Yeah, it's rock music. Or they
Yeah.
said it was drug music or something like that.
I guess I
God.
can see that.
Okay, I don't think you realize, but in those places they don't let people listen to fucking anything.
Right.
There's a very narrow.
I'm just trying
Like-
to imagine thinking of My Bloody Valentine. It's like when you
They
first
just
said
hear
it,
guitars and it's the devil's music.
when you first said it, my mind jumped to Bullet for My Valentine.
No.
Because that would be something I think of as like a 17-year-old's devil music. But My Bloody Valentine is like chill out,
Yeah.
like
But it was funny because I was like,
peaceful music.
dude, I've got My Bloody Valentine on my phone, and then we listened to what was it, Loveless?
Yeah.
Listened to that whole thing, and he was like, wow, I haven't heard this in for fucking ever, and I was like,
Album's
awesome.
about as old as I am.
So I was trying to figure out what kind of music he was into, but he only listens to this fucking world music radio, and I'm like,
Right.
at some point, he has to have listened to awesome music, you know?
Right.
This is the guy who's been to Burning Man a million times and like lived in LA for a bunch of years. Like he's obviously been into music at some point. Besides like classic jazz. Dude can go in about some jazz. I'm just like, dude, I don't know shit about jazz. Man.
Looking in gray.
Anyways, yeah, that's all there is.
You've got
I
two
might have
Pokemon
had
that are
more
weak to
ideas
fire.
before. This guy's not weak to fire. He's not great against fire. He's gonna confuse this fucking Ninetales. This guy's getting the fuck out of here. Now I got no water! Ah! Ground.
Yeah.
That's it. New York. It was 2 fucking days. It's not that much. It's not that exciting.
Hey man, you got like 2 episodes worth of stories.
I
out
hope
of
so.
It.
I hope any of it was good. I felt like it sucked.
There was a.
Nothing was as exciting as I felt to me being there.
You got to see the. You got to see the home of Rat King.
I got to
That's
see
all
a
it
rat,
really
man.
was.
I got to see a rat in the street. I didn't see any rats last time. I saw a rat this time, and I was very excited.
How big was it?
It was pretty big, but it was like cool. I was like, man, look at that rat taking it around in the trash. He was pretty cool.
How big is pretty big?
I mean, like what you would imagine, what you've seen of a big
Like
New
a-
York rat in a movie.
Like a
It's just
Ratatouille sized rat or like a big ass rat?
This is a big old rat.
Dark Souls rat?
Not a Dark Souls rat. It was not. It didn't look quite as mangy as that. It just kind of looked like a big old rat. It was like cool. He was scurrying around eating some trash. I was like, what a bro. Yeah, it was like the day before trash day, so there was just trash fucking everywhere. Or I guess they don't pick up the trash on Sunday or whatever, but they pick it up every other day. So it was just tons and tons of trash.
Gross.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't know. That was New York. It's New York.
I love New York.
I love New York.
I love New York.
Oh, and I got to watch him FaceTime his daughter in the car for like 45 minutes, which was pretty hilarious.
I hope you realize the whole time you've been telling this New York story, I've just been
4-year-old.
thinking about the You in Weird Cities music video.
Yeah.
Where they get everybody to say, I love New York. That's all that's been going through my head this whole time. And that and Rat King.
That explains your disengagement with anything I'm
No,
talking about.
I'm joking completely. I'm not disengaged. I was paying attention to your whole story. None of it was something that would make you go like, oh, wow!
It's just, it's just a story.
Whoa! Talk about New York.
Talk about eye candy.
I'm a New Yorkie and I walk with a something.
What?
I wear it's fucking.
Christopher Walken
It's
here.
Run the Jewels lyric. He says, "I'm a New
I don't know,
Yorkian.
dude.
I something. I wear my Yankee so sideways. I actually walk with a hunch." It's an LP line. You know, his
Good
Yankees. His
time.
hat.
Got home at like 12
He wears his
last
hat
night.
so sideways he walks with a hunch, Victor. It's hilarious. Next time on Digi Bros.
Meow.